Hello, beautiful, gorgeous angels. I'm Prairie Vintage, and I was called to put this beautiful video together for all the twin flames in the collective. So briefly, I could go into detail in further videos. I wanted to share the information regarding the phases of twin flames. So first phase, twin flame from 2011 to 2015. Okay, these twin flames were awakening and had the biggest challenge here in the twin flame journey because all of the collective, or if not most of the collective, was asleep. So asleep to the education system, asleep to pharmaceutical, asleep to government corruption, asleep to just in the matrix. And so this group of twin flames had to awaken themselves and had little to no guidance. Okay, and so there's lots pulling through with numerology, specifically 1111, with the 2011 coming through with those specific sets of twins. And so the challenge here was very difficult with the divine masculine really resisting, very much asleep in the matrix state, and rejecting the divine feminine, and in some cases throwing her under the bus, or just completely in another headspace altogether. And so there was a major disconnect from these initial twins. Okay, and so from 2016 to 2020, second wave of twin flames is very much about conquering the ego, getting out of the mind. And so there was a lot of back and forth, hot and cold, a lot of cycles with these twin flames. Divine masculine, again, their distortion was very much in the ego, very much in betraying the divine feminine and rejecting and pushing her away. And divine feminine has had to do a lot of work on awakening, as well as transcending a lot of the egos. So the ego was very prominent, and it was how to get out of mind and into the heart space for the second wave, which still did not come into union with the guidance of the first wave from 2011 to 2015. Now, the third wave of twin flames was during COVID at 2020 to 2023, 2024. So this group of twin flames are most likely headed into union, have been working in union. This set of twins most likely have been through the crown chakra, communicating long distance, either through dreams, telepathically, psychically connected, and always in connection, in conversation, or in communication through the divine and through the crown chakra. So this group, a very awakened divine masculine, most likely awakened prior to the divine feminine, and has had to work through ego as well. Although with this group of the divine masculine, they're either most likely still transcending parts of ego and working on self. Same with divine feminine. So there is a periods of separation where they work on self, come together, work on self, come together, but it is much more of a collaborative journey rather than one sort of leading the way and the masculine really pulled away. So these three groups are working towards union 2024, coming out of the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. And so there's a lot of shifting in regards to these twins. And the third set, most likely already some twins have come into union and are residing predominantly in the heart space, and have been awakened to all of the corruption and all of the egos that they've been sort of living in with the matrix world around them. So these are the three phases, okay? And so whichever one you fall into will maybe give you some guidance around how your journey is going and what your sort of purpose might be here in assisting in the new earth. So a lot of the divine feminines with the third wave are healers, and are most likely following some pursuit of providing healing, light work here on earth. And all the three waves of twins are pioneering the new earth, to be in the heart space, to show what unconditional love is and generate this sort of healing on earth. So, which brings me to my little rant here. My concern in the spiritual community is the guidance we're giving with a paintbrush approach to all the twin flames, where we're telling the divine feminine to create a boundary and to be independent and not chase the divine masculine, or put out an energy that is sort of this needy attachment energy, which is partially true. But what I wanted to clarify here is that when she is truly in the heart space, she is not in resistance. She is not resisting that in which she desires or wants. So if she is pulling away to create a boundary, and she is saying she will not be open until he comes correctly, whatever that means, then she is in resistance and she's perpetuating a state of separation. Okay, so her job is to identify where she has an anxious attachment or a desire to attain from the egoic place. And these are the egos she is needing to transcend. And so this doesn't mean to suppress or deny her feelings, or for her to guilt herself into not wanting to feel what it is she feels for the divine masculine. And so, when we say we could be perpetuating narcissist empath connections, or unhealthy connections by hanging on to this twin flame label, I think the only unhealthy pattern would be being in suffering and not doing anything different to ascend or to heal or to get into heart space. So how we know is when we don't want anything to do with suffering more than we want to attain or have some sort of outcome. If we're very outcome focused, if we're very much in the need to attain some sort of physical union, or to coerce the other to change any sort of dynamic between the two by manipulation or by way of silent, I guess it would be like a ultimatum. I'm blocking or resisting, or I have this boundary until you come correctly, is a form of ultimatum and is not from heart space. And so when we transcend the ego, it is one of my love supersedes that in which I desire to attain for myself, my egoic self, and I have healed my need to fill a gap or a hole within me by attaching to an external thing, person. And so my love for my twin transcends this, and I truly feel I can allow my twin to be in whatever energy my twin is in and be completely at peace, because this is true unconditional love, in a state of true happiness for the twin to be whatever state that they're in. And so this is true surrender. This is true surrendering. And so we perpetuate the resistance. And so although we might see the energy working in action, when one pulls away, the other sort of leans into it, it is temporary. So these boundaries, or these periods of empowerment, or trying to stand in one's own sort of egoic constructs masquerading as a healthy boundary, this only delays and perpetuates the inevitable here, which is having to transcend these egos, having to really look at self and say, am I coming from a selfish desire of fear-based love? My fear here is to lose out, or to miss out, or to attach to someone who's going to fulfill me, because I am not whole and complete on my own. And so to do that work is key. So the answer to union is really unconditional love, and one also of providing service to others. So when we reach a state of true unconditional love, we see that in which we feel for our twin in everything and everyone. And so it is there which we decide to devote ourselves unconditionally and be of service to do God's works and really just live from the heart space. So it becomes a flip from the I to the we, unity consciousness, which is going from the Pisces era to the Aquarian era, which is more about the we and the collective consciousness, and the new earth of healing, and really, really tying ourselves into that which feeds the collective healing more so than the independent I or the ego fulfillment. So that's what we strive to do. And so a big part would be that of forgiveness, although nothing needs to be forgiven in God's earth, because nothing is really gone astray. It is a perfect universe in which God has allowed us children to manifest however we manifest. And so it's all under God's earth. And so this concept of forgiveness is one that the ego goes through, and it is one of looking inwards and forgiving self for anything and everything, and not passing any judgment on self. And so once this is accomplished, then divine feminine can extend this outwards to the divine masculine, and onwards from that divine masculine to everyone and everything. It becomes almost like a fully integrated journey, from within, and then it stems towards the twin and everything and everyone externally. And so she is not really focused on the actions of the twin, or what it is that the divine masculine is sort of not doing or doing, because she is committed to this full sort of bigger story that's going on, but it is truly coming from the heart space. And so to get to that place, she has to do a lot of work on self and not feel guilt or shame to be concerned with the I, initially, because she deconstructs that I. She cannot go straight from wanting and attaching to divine masculine in this more egoic state and then flip to service to others just to get some sort of change, because now she's still in resistance to what her heart truly wants. So what her heart truly wants when she's at the beginning of this journey, when she's needing to do a lot of work, is the divine masculine. She feels she wants him. She says she's in love. She feels it deeply in her soul, and so her feelings do not lie. And so she thinks she is doing this out of true love, and she thinks she is doing this out of the purest state. Although if she asks the question, what is truly loving someone? Is it allowing them to be in the energy they're in without wanting any changes, without having to coerce or deceive or manipulate or require that person to be anything other than the energy they're in? And so it's a hard pill to swallow, but once she sits with that, she knows her love for her divine masculine, her beloved, is truly deeper than anything. And that's what drives it. And so how she knows is the love is the deepest. The unconditional love that she's never felt is now felt in her heart. And so she is able to really dive into this place that's been foreign to her, and it opens the door to all the relationships that she has in her world. And so the point of suffering creates this shift, the suffering, the deep suffering that most twins experience, that they would not ask for, that if they were given the choice, they would not want to be on the journey. They would not seek the journey. They would want to escape. This is how you know that it is a journey and not one of limerence, or one of just a difficult, challenging narcissist empath relationship. And so this is a suffering such as one who's lost a child. It is a deep suffering, and this is the catalyst to change. This is the catalyst to the dark night of the soul. This is the catalyst to shedding of the ego. And so with the three phases, back to the twin flames here, it is a procession and a slow process, because in order to reach a state of unconditional love and higher levels of consciousness, we must be awakened in the matrix, and we must transcend egos. And then we must open the heart space and live from the heart space. So these are 3 pillars of the journey itself. And so if you're anywhere on this stage, which the third wave could certainly still be in the matrix, still asleep, but when they wake up, it is a fast track to union, because the third wave is fast tracking to the union and leading those into union, because when they are awakened to that of the matrix and transcended the egos, they are predominantly already in the heart space, and they have already tapped into the divine through this telepathy and through their light worker works, that they're able to really transcend a lot of this 3D energy that's been creating the resistance and the separation. And so all 3 of the phases of the twins have served a purpose, but a lot of the readings I have been providing for the twins, there is a shift in 2024 into union, and there is a period potentially where twins that have been in union might fall out of union. And so we say, well, maybe they're not then in union if they're still going in and out. But the answer to that is that there are always egos that need to get transcended. And so our twin keeps us not falling back into the matrix, not falling back into the ego. And so this is a constant state of needing to maintain balance, awareness, being in the present moment, and being very conscious, and reaching levels of ascension that are lifting up humanity. All right, so I hope this video helped you guys provide some clarity, but do not resist, your twin. What you resist persists. And if you are attaching out of some anxious energy, fear, or any of that, then that is also pushing away the twin. And so there needs to be a balance and an honesty. And so if we need to completely allow ourselves to be honest with what it is we desire, and have this communication, no matter how desperate, clingy, or whatever it may be, to allow ourselves to see exactly where we stand. This is the only way. And we cannot suppress this part of self and say, I am not this version of me that I am not wanting to accept, because we cannot transcend that part of self that wants to come out. There's a part of self that is burning inside. And this is why the feelings are super intense. It is there for us to acknowledge, and then to really tap into the heart space and ask the heart what it wants to do, not the ego or not the self that is driven from fear, but the place that feels that true, deep, unconditional love for the twin, which overrides anything and everything. And so if the divine feminine does not feel this from within, she cannot extend it to him or to anyone else. And so the journey does become one of inwards, and this appears as though she has pulled away or removed her energy from the masculine, but she is not just doing this by action. She is doing this in an organic state of having to really look within, and so this pulls her energy from that divine masculine to really tap into this place. But she has to be very honest with what it is that she's feeling for him, and not deny or pretend or do these actions that will elicit some sort of shift in energy, because that is very temporary. Okay, and so yeah, I'd like to know, where are you guys at? Are you guys first, second, or third wave twin flames? And I'm hoping spiritual community steps up here, to support the twins, because there's a lot of fear and enabling, unhealthy relationship. And so I feel that it's not our position here to tiptoe around these people, and allow the twins who have been trying to ascertain, information here, in order for them to get out of these stalemates or these periods of separation, and fully lean into something that allows them to break free. And so as far as I'm concerned, that is the true healing. And if anyone is in a state of an unhealthy relationship, it is certainly up to them to do their own inner work, and this would apply for them as well. So as far as I'm concerned, the best thing anyone can do in relationship is heal self, is heal self. So I love you guys very much, and I may just put out a reading later today. Okay, so I love you guys. I'll see you at the next one. Bye.